Can you just talk to me what it's like to represent a great wrestling community like Osage?
It's been, I've been here about 30 years now, so it's been really good. When I came here and applied for this job, knowing that wrestling was important to the community of Osage when I came, and it was important to me, so I felt it was a good fit for me. We've had some really good years, especially of late, but really important to have the backing and support, not only of the people that have gone before us as far as our older generation, all the way down through what we have with our parents now and our kids club and what they're doing. So,
Yeah. What do you think has changed the most since you first started to now?
we've grown a lot. I think as a school, there's still, we're still in the same wrestling room. We're still, a lot of those things are still the same, but we've adjusted the way we do things. I think I have a lot more help today than I did then. I'm not saying I didn't have help then, but I have a lot more assistance right now than what I did when I started, and even through some of those middle years. So it makes a big difference for the success of our program, and even helps me out a lot. Makes my job a lot easier when I got people that are on the same page, want the same things, and are there to help kids. So.
Yeah, and you guys are just growing and developing at a great rate, just new facilities and plans on that, and just everything. Can you just talk about just the growth that Osage has shown?
Yeah, we're trying with what we're doing with our girls program now, and the addition of girls wrestling. We really need a second room, another room, in addition to what we have to really help us grow. And we're pushing to do that. We're still trying to raise some money to do that. But we're getting there, and we're getting closer and closer every day. So if that happens, I think that really kind of explodes our ability to really excel even at a higher level than what we are right now. So the landscape of athletics in high school has changed a little bit, obviously, in 30 years, and we're trying to change with it and make sure that we're a leader in that front as a program for the sport of wrestling in Osage. So.
Yeah, what does it say just as Osage as a whole when you see it's like wrestling coaching tree with like Doug Schwab and Heath Grimm and a lot of those guys?
Yeah, we had some college guys out there coaching right now that are doing really well and successful, and we've had some very successful coaches go on, over the years. If you look at the list in there in the room, there's a lot of those guys that coached here prior to me that went on to coach at college level, especially back in the older, the 40s and the 50s and so forth. That was kind of you went to high school, you went and coached at a high school level before you went to a college. That's the way they used to do it. So a lot of those guys were here, they were successful, successful college wrestlers, and then coaches, and then moved on to coach at the college level. So it's kind of laid a good foundation, and the expectations are here to be successful in this program, and hopefully we've sustained that, if not excelled at it a little bit, in the last 30 years.
Yeah, what can you kind of just say about your journey to Osage and just your life before coming to Osage 30 years ago?
I was at a program that was in its infancy in Clarinda, which is where I graduated from. They hadn't had wrestling very long, actually, and so I went back there and coached a few years while I was finishing up college. I'd been in the service for a little while, and went back and coached. And we had raised that program enough, and we won the state tournament. Actually beat Osage at second. Clarinda got first in 1994, and so it kind of gave me a leg up of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And I'd kind of seen what it took to build a program from the bottom up, coming through that program, and being part of it as a wrestler and then as a coach, and working with their kids program as well through those years. So I had a good idea coming in what needed to happen, and I think we've done that here. We've done a good job. We have a good feeder program. A lot of kids in the hopper that want to be great wrestlers in the Osage singlet. So that says a lot. And that'll continue long after I'm gone, whether that's this year, next year, whatever, it'll continue. And that was my goal, is to make sure that when I left, it was still in a really good position to continue to thrive.
Yeah, the development of that culture is just such a big emphasis for Osage. Can you just talk about just that culture that you guys have developed?
Yeah, it just becomes an expectation, to win here, and we've just kind of planted that seed over and over again, and whether it's with our youth kids or our high school kids, or what they're looking to do after they get out of high school, if they're going to go compete in college, we've just tried to, feed that into the system, that it's just part of it, and the culture is to win. Winning's fun. I tell kids, that practice isn't always fun, but winning's fun. And so when you do the things necessary in practice, you can go have fun in the meets and win those meets. So,
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about your high school wrestling career?
I really didn't have much of. I was a state runner-up as a senior, but I come from a program again that was in its infancy stages. I was fortunate enough to be good enough to make some teams and wrestle on teams with some guys from Osage through high school. I wrestled with Mark Schwab and Mike Schwab and Joe Malachek and Dennis Malachek on some of the Iowa teams where we'd go to nationals. So I was fortunate enough to do that, and was a 3-time state qualifier. But again, far cry from where we are today, or the expectations. I enjoyed wrestling a lot in high school. So it was something that I, as a small guy, was something I could excel at and invest my time in, and really find an avenue for me in school and in athletics. So it was an important part of my life at that time, and still is today.
Yeah. And how long do you still plan on coaching?
It's a good question. I don't know yet. We're taking it a year at a time here, and just trying to. We'll get through this season, see where we're at, and make a decision about next year, and then we'll do the same thing next year if I don't step down at the end of this year. So one year at a time.
Sounds good.